Welcome everyone to Grow with GoGo. Today's session is going to be strength training, and we're excited to have you here. You know GoGo for all of these things. That's probably how you found us: the rides, the meals, groceries, prescriptions, home services. We're hoping that these events are something that are useful for you in your life, like these other services, and maybe something you look forward to every week. And with that said, we have just a couple more scheduled in the calendar for June. So the last Thursday of June is the last time we have these scheduled. Hopefully that's not forever, but for the near future, that's our last class. I'll be putting a link in the emails that you get every week and a link in the chat for a survey. We love to hear your feedback about how we can make these better for you so we know how to improve them. And you, of course, know Adra by now. She's going to be leading today's class like she always does. I'm Cassie, work for GoGo. And so let's get into it.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. I see several new faces, I think, and of course, a couple of usual faces. So good to see you. Welcome to class. So for our strength training class today, you just need a chair. If you have a set of weights, a set of light weights, that would be very helpful. If you don't have weights, you could grab some water bottles or some cans, anything to hold on to. You don't have it, you can still move your arms and your body without the weights. And also being near something like a wall can be very helpful just for balance. So does anyone remember our strength training move? So not last week from yoga, but the week before we had it wasn't super strength-based move, but we had a move. Does anyone remember what it was? Or do you remember what the yoga move was last week? I'll give everyone a second. You can either unmute yourself and say it if you remember, or put it in the chat. Does this give anyone some ideas? No? Balance. So on our strength training move, so not last week, but the week before, was standing on one foot. And then for yoga, I'll tell it to you. So then maybe next week you'll remember it was ankle circles. Great. Thanks, Brian. Loving the balance stuff. All right. So this week we'll have a new move, a new strength move, but let's get going. So let's go ahead and stand up. No need to grab any of your props yet, so you could just leave your things nearby in an accessible space. Going to stand, placing your feet down maybe 4 to 6 inches apart, standing nice and tall. Let's start with some shoulder rolls. So just waking up the body a little bit. Shoulder rolls can go backwards. And then take those shoulder rolls forward. Great. And then relaxing those shoulders. And just take a moment to stand and notice how your body orients itself when you're standing. So where do you hold the weight of your body? Is it forward or back, right or left? And see if you can find that even weight on your feet. So even weight front to back, right to left. Feel the back of the neck nice and long, shoulders soft, really grounding down into the feet. Almost like you're creating roots with your feet. So you're really pushing down. And then take a moment and either let your gaze drop to the ground, or if it's safe to close the eyes, go ahead and close the eyes. And just take a moment to take stock of how your body is doing today. So seeing where you're starting. Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling calm, excited, neutral? Doesn't matter. Just notice, take note. What's going on? Great, and then open up those eyes if you close them. Let's inhale, circle the arms up towards the ceiling, reach as tall as you can, and then just alternate reaching the right arm and then the left arm up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky. So just starting to wake up the body before we start to strengthen the body. We just want to make sure our shoulders, our arms, our spine are ready to move. Beautiful. I love that I can see all of you moving with me. All right, and then letting that go. Let's open up the arms nice and wide. Lift the chest, so we're stretching the front of the body. And then as you exhale, bring the backs of your hands to touch and round your back and drop your chin. We'll add some breathing. So we inhale, open up the arms, stretch the front of the body. Tailbone goes back, chest lift. And then exhale, round your back, bring the backs of the hands to touch, drop your chin. Keep going, just a few more times. So warming up the spine and the shoulders a little bit more. All right, and then coming back to center. Let's sit down on our chair to start some of our strength stuff. So if you have your weights on your chair, you will have to move them out of the way. We don't need the weights quite yet. We'll need them in a couple of minutes. Once you sit on your chair, make sure you have plenty of room behind you, because we're going to do some seated sit-ups. So you want lots of room between your back and the backrest. Go ahead and give yourself a hug. So just wrapping your arms, either grabbing your elbows or grabbing your shoulders, just so that you're not using your arms here. Relax your rib cage. So let your ribs, those front ribs, drop down. So it almost feels like you're slouching a little bit. And we will inhale, lean back, lean as far back as you comfortably can. Maybe you'll touch the back of the chair. And then exhale, use those abs to sit yourself up, back up. So we inhale, lean back, so warming up that core. Exhale, sit up. So keep going here at your own pace. Leaning back and sitting up. Our jaw is relaxed. When you lean back, try not to make a back bend. So you're not trying to lift the chest as you lean back. You're trying to keep your spine long and neutral. If it's feeling easy, you might choose to shift yourself further forward on the chair so you have further you have to go. If this is feeling hard, when you come to sit up, you can reach those arms forward to help you. So arms can be close to the body as you lean back, and then arms come forward to help you sit up. Let's do 2 or 3 more. And the next time you're sitting tall, go ahead and pause. We are going to lean back halfway. So you'll lean back, you're not touching the back breast, but you're holding halfway. Feeling your core here. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, you'll start to march a little bit. So lifting one foot off the ground and then the other. If that's too challenging, keep both feet down, no problem. So you're leaning back a little so that you really feel those abs. 2 more breaths. And then come to sit up tall. Relaxing those arms, they can come down onto your lap. Let's lift one leg up, hold it up so you're feeling that thigh working, and circle your ankle. So warming up the foot, circle that ankle, and then circle the other direction. Great, release the foot down and we'll switch sides. So lift your other leg, feeling that thigh working a little bit. Circle your ankle. Switch directions, noticing those pops and cracks. Totally normal, totally okay. and then relaxing the foot. So noticing your position of your torso, you're going to try and keep your torso upright as it is. You'll lift your right foot just a few inches off the ground, and then straighten your right leg forward. So you're feeling those thigh muscles, those quad muscles working to straighten the leg. Bend that right knee again, so that the foot is hovering above the earth. So we'll straighten the right leg, feeling those thigh muscles work, and bend. So keep going here. What you'll find is if you straighten the leg, your body might want to lean back. And when you start to lean back, you'll not get as much quad work or thigh strengthening. So try and stay upright with your torso as best you can. Don't worry if your leg doesn't straighten all the way, just go where you can. Try and keep the jaw, shoulders, neck relaxed. Just 2 more times. And then releasing the foot. Whew. Hopefully you felt some of that. Let's try the other side. So float that left foot a couple of inches off the ground, and then straighten the left leg. Watch that your torso stays upright, that you don't lean back, and then bend that left knee, hovering the foot a couple of inches off of the ground. We'll keep going here a couple of times. Noticing how this side feels compared to the other side. You want to try and keep that thigh at least parallel to the earth, or even a little bit higher. So watch that the thigh doesn't start to drop. As the leg drops, then it will be less challenging. So of course, if you're not feeling it, you want to make sure that the thigh is higher. If it's too much, you could lower that thigh a little bit. Couple more. All right, and then releasing the foot, take a little break. We're adding on. So we'll lift that right foot, so going back to our first leg, lift that right foot a couple of inches, straighten the leg as straight as it can go, and then little pulses up towards the ceiling. So those toes are reaching up towards the ceiling. It can be tiny, it can be imaginary, it can be really big, up to you. But if you want more challenge, you want to pass the leg from parallel to higher, right? So the leg parallels hard, the higher you go away from the ground, the harder it will be. And release. And let's switch sides. So straighten out that left leg and little pulses. Pulses go up. Again, the further from the earth you go, the harder it will be. You can also allow these pulses to be bigger and use momentum to help you out. Trying to keep that spine pretty long so the torso is uninvolved in this activity in terms of movement. It's stabilizing, it's nice and strong, but it's not moving. It's just the leg. Easier said than done. All right, and release. Shake it off. Okay. Let's go ahead and move our feet so that the ankles are just behind the knees. So instead of being right below the knees, go just slightly behind the knees or a little closer to your chair. Lean forward. Let's either have the hands on the thighs or reach your arms forward, whichever you prefer. And then float your hips just an inch off of your chair. So just a small lift. Really push down into your heels. Hold here. And then come back down. Let's do that again. Leaning forward, spine is long. You're floating those hips a couple of inches off the ground. You can either have your hands on your thighs or arms forward. Hold. And release. One more time. Leaning forward. Hover those hips a couple of inches off of your chair. Hands on the thighs or forward. Hold. And release. Whew. Okay, we're going to work our glutes a little bit more instead of those quads. We might not get our hips off of the chair as we try this, so don't worry about actually getting up. You're going to put your feet now so that the knees are just above the ankles. So a minute ago, our ankles were closer to the chair. Now you want to get those ankles just under those knees. It's going to make this much, 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 much harder. Then lean forward, maybe lean even further forward than you did before. Hands can push down onto the thighs, arms reach forward. I don't care if you actually come off of the chair. Think about trying to float those hips an inch off the ground by really pushing your heels into the earth. And then back down. So that shift in foot position changes what muscles really get activated. So let's try that again. Ankles underneath the knees, leaning forward. The goal is not necessarily to come up. Hands can be on the thighs or forward. I find forward's a little easier for this one. Really lean your torso forward and then try and lift those hips. Doesn't matter if they actually come off the chair. You're just pushing down into the heels, trying to lift those hips, using those glutes to help you, and then back down. Okay, one last one of these. Again, watching those feet, making sure those ankles are just below the knees. Lean forward. Hands on the thighs or forward. Round down into the heels. So almost no weight on those toes. Really pushing into the heels for this as you try and float those hips off of the chair. Again, doesn't matter if they actually lift. And back down. All right, let's shake it off. And let's find those weights. We're going to start actually in our chair with those weights. So take a minute, grab your weights. We are going to be in our chair with these weights first. So from here, you're going to lean forward once again. You can place your feet however is most comfortable for you. Your spine is long. Your arms are going to drop down by your legs. We're going to do some shoulder squeezes. So squeezing your shoulder blades together and then bend your elbows so your elbows reach up towards the ceiling. And then lower those hands down with control. Let's add some breathing. So exhale, you squeeze the shoulder blades together, elbows reach up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, slowly lower down. Exhale, shoulder blades squeeze, elbows up to the sky, and slowly lower down. Keep going. So at your own pace, you can go faster than me, you can go slower than me. You can take as many breaks as you need. And of course, depending on your strength, you might choose you need different weights. Of course, the heavier it is, the harder it will be. And even without weights, you're getting lots of benefits. So no worries if you don't have weights, you're still moving your body, you're still activating those muscles. Couple more. Right, and then go ahead and come up to sit. Pause for a moment, take a deep breath. We're coming to stand, so adjusting your legs so you can come up to stand easily. Hands can be placed on your thighs or on armrests. If you're able to stand with those weights to come up, that's fine, do that. If not, put your weights down, stand up, and then grab your weights again. However you'd like to come up, totally fine. We're going to stand. Okay, with our weights still, let's do some shoulder rolls. Couple shoulder rolls back. And shoulder rolls forward. Okay, let's work those biceps. We'll start with those palms facing forward or fingers facing forward. Arms alongside the body. We'll bend those elbows so those hands come towards the shoulders and then lower the arms down. So the whole time you want there to be control. So just up and down here at your own pace. So there's no quick drop, right? You want to control on the way down. You might even imagine that you're moving through something a little bit sticky. So maybe you're moving through honey, peanut butter, or water, something that creates some resistance. As you create that resistance, the more challenging it will be, no matter what amount of weight you are holding. watching that your elbows stay pretty fixed. So of course the elbows are bending and straightening, but they're not swinging forward and back to make this happen. They're staying still as you come up and down. Couple more times. And then we're going to pause. Next time our arms are halfway, so kind of at a 90-degree angle. Let that 90-degree angle go up an inch and then down an inch. So it's nice and small pulses, up and down. Jaw is soft, neck is relaxed. Can you allow this little pulse to be actually a really small pulse? How small can you make it? Can you make it so subtle that I can barely see it? Great, and release. Relax those arms. You can either keep holding on to your weights or put them down. We're going into our legs. I'm going to keep holding on to my weights for now. You're going to take your feet a little wider than your shoulders or shoulder width. Your feet can either face forward, so the toes can face forward, or you can turn your toes out slightly. So it's whatever feels comfortable, doable for your body. We will inhale, bend those knees, going into a squat. You decide how low you go. It doesn't matter. It can be an inch, it can be many, many inches. And then coming all the way up. So we inhale, bend those knees, hips go back, spine is long, chest stays lifted. You decide how low you go. Push down into the feet to rise. Up and down at your own pace. If you want more challenge and you're holding on to the weights, so this is an option if you want more, you don't need to do it. When you bend those knees, arms come forward, and then when you straighten those legs, arms lower. So we inhale, bend the knees, either arms stay down or arms come forward, working those shoulders, and then arms lower as you straighten those legs. So the arms are straight if you're deciding to do that. You might find that the weights are too much, but that you want to do the arms, so you can do the arms with the weights, right? So you have options, you have choices. Play, do whatever works for your body. Couple more times. Let's do one more. Great, and then releasing, relaxing, shaking it off. And let's put those weights to the side if you still have them. You can place them on your chair. Just be mindful as you move things around. We're going into a sumo squat or a large wide squat. So now legs are going wider than your shoulders, toes are pointing out, heels are in. Let's start by just bending those knees. Knees are tracking along the feet, so watch that your knees don't knock in. You really want to push those knees open so they line up with your ankles and toes. And then straighten those legs, come up. So let's breathe. Inhale, bend those knees. You decide how low you go. Exhale, push down into the heels to rise. Inhale as you bend. And exhale as you straighten. Keep going at your own pace. You decide how low you go. You decide. Make this work for your body today. As you rise, think about pushing your heels into the earth to help support your body on the way up. Great. Next time you're forward, your knees are bent, pause there. And I'm going to have you lean your torso forward, hands on your thighs. From there, we're going into a little shoulder twist. So we drop the right shoulder forward and rotate your spine. So right shoulder drops, we rotate and look to the left. And then center, left shoulder drops, we rotate and look to the right. Again, right shoulder drops, rotate, look to the left. And then switch, left shoulder drops, rotate, look to the right. And back to center and come all the way up. Let's bring those legs back together. We are moving to wall push-ups. I would much prefer you use a wall or a table, something very steady. I'm going to use the chair so that you can see me well. I would prefer you don't use the chair because the chair might move. I'm going to say that again. Try and use a wall or a table. Avoid the chair. I'm demonstrating on a chair because that way you can see me well and you're not just, my back isn't just to you. All right, so placing your hands on the wall or on your table or counter. You're going to walk your feet back just a few inches and create a plank-like position with your body. And let's just hold there. So again, the reason I'm saying no chair is the chair might move, and so it's not super safe. So that's why the wall or something steady like a steady table counter is safer. So once you're in this plank position, just pause and see if you can hold this position. Holding your plank, see if you can maintain your plank, so not changing the integrity of your spine or torso. Can you float one hand away from the wall? And back down. Again, maintaining the position of your spine, engaging your abdominals. Can you float the other hand? And back down. Let's try that one more time. Floating one hand off. Trying not to change anything else. So the whole body's quiet except for the hands, the arms. Bring that hand back down. Nothing is moving except for your arms. So exhale, engage your core and try and float your hand. And then back down. You can always change the challenge of this activity. So if it's too hard, you walk yourself closer to your wall. If it's easy, you walk yourself further from the wall or table. Okay, now we're adding on. So instead of doing those arm floats, we're going into push-ups. So wall push-ups, pushing against the wall. Maybe you stay where you are. Or you start to bend your elbows. Elbows can go out kind of at a diagonal. It can be a tiny bend, or you can go deep. It's up to you. Please be careful. If you're choosing to use a chair, please be careful because the chair is going to move. That's why we want the wall. And then push down into the wall to straighten those arms. The wall push-ups. Inhale as you bend those elbows. Exhale as you straighten. Couple more times. Noticing what you're feeling here in your body. Can you keep your spine really still, your torso engaged? So you're trying to engage all those core muscles so that your arms are doing all of the moving work and the rest of the body stays still. Let's try two more. And then letting that go. Walking yourself to stand tall, releasing those arms, shaking it off. And since we're close to the wall right now, we're going to stay by the wall and do a balance exercise. So you can either have fingertips on the wall or fingertips on a chair or counter, just something to hold on to. And we are going to stand on our left foot and float the right foot off of the ground. So we're giving the push-ups a break, balancing on one foot now. Just notice, okay, how did that feel? How does this feel? Balancing on one foot. This is our baseline, and then bring that foot down, and we'll just switch sides. So bending your other knee, floating, balancing on one foot. Again, holding on to a wall, a chair. Great, and then bringing that foot down. Now we're going to be a little bit more mindful as to how we move our leg when we're going into this. So please keep holding on to something, even if you don't need it. Push down into your left foot, so pushing down into your left leg. We'll start to bring that right leg back behind us by bending the knee, and just pause after the foot is a few inches off the ground. Let your knees be next to each other. So by that, I mean that your right knee is next to the left knee and not ahead of it. So oftentimes, when we start to bend, that knee moves forward. I want us to keep our hip joint nice and long and not shorten it. So as you bend the knee, that hip stays long, the front of the hip stays long, stay there. Try and bring that heel as close to your glutes as you can, going straight back. So that pulling back should get those hamstring muscles to work. So you're trying to get that heel to touch your glutes without changing the position of your pelvis or the relationship of your thigh on your pelvis. So if you move that thigh forward, you'll lose the hamstring work. And then release the foot. So we'll try that on the other side. So holding on as needed. Your hips stay as they are. So the relationship of your pelvis and thighs stay exactly the same. Push down into that right foot. Begin to bend the left knee. The left foot goes behind you. Pause after it floats a few inches. Look that the knees are next to each other, that the left knee isn't moving forward. Keep that left knee right next to the right knee as you bend the left knee, bringing the heel as close to your glutes as you can. So you're bending and bending and bending until it can't bend anymore, using those hamstring muscles. Watching for those cheeks of bringing that knee forward. Also watching what your spine is doing. Can you keep your ribs soft? Can your spine stay long? And release. Let's do that one more time to each side. So standing on that left foot, bending the right knee. Right heel reaches towards the glutes. So all those same things. Also watch that your knee doesn't go out to the side. Right, that knee is straight up and down. The knees are next to each other. That right foot is reaching towards the glutes. Your pelvis stays neutral. Your back stays neutral. And release. Let's try the other side. Sitting on that right foot, we bend that left knee, left foot goes back. Pelvis stays the same. We're reaching that left heel towards the glutes. You go to wherever you can, right? Whatever degree your body can do is great. Keeping the core engaged. And release. Okay, shake it off. We'll give our legs a little break. We're coming back to those push-ups. So another set of push-ups. Finding that wall or counter or table. Again, I'm just using the chair so you can see me. I prefer the wall for safety. All right, hands on your support. Spine is long. Find that plank position. It's up to you. It's easier if you're close to the wall. It's harder if you walk yourself further from the wall. Make it the challenge that works right for you, works well for you. Okay, little different before you go into those push-ups. Nice strong core. And you push down into one foot and float the other foot off of the ground. If that's too crazy, don't do it. And then bring that foot down and switch. Let's just see. Can you push one foot down and float the other leg off the ground? Doesn't matter if you can't, you're just checking, just noticing. Let's do that one more time, each side. Is it possible to float one foot off the ground in this plank position? And then try the other foot. All right, back to that plank. Let's do our push-ups here. Let's bend those elbows. Inhale, chest move towards the wall. Exhale, straighten those arms. Keep going. Jaw is relaxed, breath is smooth. Great. And then coming out of that, walking towards the wall or towards your table, shake it off. We're going back to those hamstrings, those hamstring curls as we're standing. So finding again your hands on a support, wall, chair, table. Knees are right next to each other. Spine is long, your ribs are soft, so try not to start to do a back bend as we do this. We'll begin to bend that right knee, reaching that right heel towards your glutes. Now, as you do this, watch that the right knee stays next to the left knee. Watch that you're not changing the position of your pelvis, that your thigh isn't moving forward or out to the side, and that your spine stays long. You might even think about tucking your tail under, like your tail is going between your legs as you try and pull that heel towards your glutes. We're holding here this time. If you want more challenge as you're doing this, maybe you lighten how hard you're holding on to your support. Maybe you're holding on with 1 or 2 fingers. Maybe you're hovering the hands. But of course, being at your level, be at your level. So no need to overdo it if it doesn't feel good or doesn't feel safe. And then release the leg. Let's try the other side. We're standing now on the right leg, we bend the left knee, left heel move towards the glute. Again, all of those same checks. Is your spine long? Are you over back bending? If you're back bending, you're going to lose the strengthening. So you want to drop your rib cage. Your spine is long. Your pelvis is in that neutral position, so it's not untucked or way tucked. You're thinking about almost dropping your tailbone towards the earth, watching that your knees are next to each other as you reach that left heel towards your glutes. And you're just strongly reaching as hard as you safely can. You're trying to get that heel to touch your glutes. You're just pulling and pulling and pulling. And then maybe you're lightening how hard you're holding on to your support, your chair, your wall. And release. Shake it off. All right, hands on your wall or chair or table. Walk your feet back. Bring your torso parallel to the earth. Thighs are straight up and down. Stretch out those hamstrings. Very nice. Let's hold here for a couple of breaths. All right, and then walking yourself forward. Let's grab those weights once again. You can do this exercise standing or seated. I'm going to be standing, but if your body is getting tired and you want to do this seated, you're absolutely welcome to do that. You are also absolutely welcome to do this without weights. This is hard. We're going to bring our arms into a cactus-like position, so this 90-degree angle position. Beautiful. Let's press those arms up towards the ceiling and then bend your elbows. We press those arms up and we bend. So keep going here. A couple of things to pay attention to. You want to watch your rib cage. So what often happens, so I'm going to show you what we don't want, is this lifting of the chest, this back bending. Then we're not working our arms as much. We're really loading our spine. So instead, you try and keep your torso really still as you move your arms. You might need to engage your abdominal muscles to keep you from back bending. You might also find that those arms need to come a little bit forward as opposed to straight up. And that's okay. A couple more times. Feeling that heat in the shoulders. As always, you're welcome to take breaks whenever you need. Or maybe you drop those weights and you keep doing the movement, feeling that burn. Let's do 3 more. Great, and slowly with control, lower those arms. Couple of shoulder rolls. Maybe shoulder rolls go the other way. Okay, we have a little bit more shoulder work. Again, this is going to be challenging. So if you're finding that your shoulders are starting to feel tired, ditch the weights. You don't need them, but you can use them if you want, right? So it's your level, you decide. weights or no weights. I'm gonna start with weights for about a minute and then I'll get rid of them. So arms are going out to a T position. And then back down halfway, so you create almost like an A shape. Arms go out to a T, and then down to an A shape. It's like we're flying. Where's everyone flying to? You're flapping your wings. Elbows are a little bit soft. So just a very micro bend, a small bend in the elbows, just to prevent any hyperextending or over straightening. So right, if you're starting to burn, you can always relax those arms for a moment, get rid of your weights, and go back without them, or have options. No problem, you do you. Let's do about 10 more. Everyone's looking awesome. Great. And release, shake it off. Let that go. Now we're coming back to our weights. If you want to use them, we're going to the fronts of the shoulders. We just did a lot of side shoulders. Now we're going fronts of the shoulders. Arms are going straight ahead. Let's go palms face each other. So if you're, either if you're holding your weights or not, palms are facing in or fingers are facing sort of towards each other if you were to open those fingers slightly. We're lifting those arms forward about 90 degrees or parallel to the earth, and then lower those arms down. Again, watch that your spine isn't doing this work, that your back isn't moving, it's just those arms. Easier said than done. So torso stays still as we move those arms. Again, if it starts to feel really heavy, either take a break or drop the weights and do the movement without. I often find that after doing maybe 10 of these with weights, as I drop the weights and just move my arms, it's still really challenging. Watch that those arms stay straight. So once you start to bend those elbows, it's getting easier. So elbows stay straight. Couple more times. Great. One more. And then letting that go. Placing your weight somewhere, either on your table or on the ground, not on the chair. We're going to sit on the chair in about 1 minute. So might as well put your weights elsewhere for now. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then reach those knuckles back behind you. So now if you want, you can let yourself back bend. You can open that chest. Couple of deep breaths. And release. And then cross one arm in front of the body. We'll hook the other elbow, get a little shoulder stretching here. You can play with where the shoulder is positioned. So if the shoulder's up towards the ears, you might not get a lot of stretch. So if you drop that shoulder down away from your ear, you might get a little more stretch. Let's switch. Great, and release. We're going to make our way onto our chair. We're going to try and do a foot stretch here, so hopefully people can see me. Maybe I'll see my place. So sitting in our chair, we'll bring one leg back, behind you and points the foot so that the top of the foot is on the ground. So stay in your chair. I'm gonna come closer so that maybe you can see what I'm thinking about. So what I want is this part of the foot. So the tops of the toes, the toenails, that part of the foot is what's on the ground. So you're sitting and then you're moving one leg back so the top of the foot is moving towards the ground. So it's probably just going to be the tops of the toes and the toenails. If your foot cramps when you do this, just come out, give the foot a little stretch, and then bring it back. And then we'll switch feet. So other leg goes back, top of the foot down. So it's the toenails and the tops of the toes that are getting stretched here. And you'll get a stretch maybe even into your ankle. Great, and go ahead and release that, planting those feet. We'll inhale, grounding into those feet, circle those arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Take up some space, and then exhale, palms flip to face down, push the air. Do that one more time, arms circle out and up. Exhale, palms flip, face down, push the air. Let those hands land on your lap. Relax the jaw and either close the eyes or let your gaze soften to the ground. And just take 2 or 3 deep breaths here. And then take note of how you're feeling. How is your body feeling? How is your mind after our movement practice? And then from this place, taking a moment to thank yourself for taking time to take care of your body and to be here a part of our GoGo community, supporting each other as we grow, as we change and strengthen. Opening up those eyes. Thank you everybody so much. Always a pleasure. Just a reminder that end of June is our last set of these series, at least for now. So would love to see you for the next couple. Before I let you go, we have a move for this week. Maybe you should write it down. Maybe that way you'll remember it. Highly recommend you write it down. It's wall plank. So that was the new move today. We hadn't done that together. That's my request for you to play with this week is wall plank. So placing those hands, there we go. Justin has written down wall plank. Placing those hands on the wall, walking your feet back, and just holding that plank position. You decide how far those feet go. The further away, the harder it will be. And then that's it for me blabbing on. How is everyone feeling? Any thoughts, feelings? Thanks. Love the thumbs up, Russ. Feeling strong? Tia, I see that. Yes, Sandra. Okay, love it. You can always put something in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling or if you have questions. Or if you were thinking, wall plank, what's that? I don't remember it. I can show it to you. You just have to let me know that's what you need. And oh, what's this? 20 pounds? Is that what you were showing us, Russ? You have to show it again. I missed it.
Whoa.
Wow. What are you doing your squats with that? What are you doing that with? Oh, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Actually, I usually get on this, whatever you call it, the balance, bubble thing. And then I'll just raise it up in front of me. That's what I do. Sometimes, lots of times, to wake up in the morning, I have it next to me in bed and I just lay down flat and push it straight up.
I love it. I love it. That's so great. Get that body moving right away.
Yep. It gets the blood flowing.
Nice job.
Does anyone
Wes.
else have a routine like that in the morning, first thing to wake yourself up? I've
Only
been
on
jumper.
Thursdays.
Sorry?
Just only on Thursdays with this class.
Only on Thursdays. Any questions, any feelings, or anyone want to share their morning wake up? Don't have to.
Well, something to maybe incentivize remembering the move of the week is we might be offering some credits to folks who remember next week. So if you let us know next week when Adra asks, the first person to guess it correctly or remember will probably be able to give you about $10 in GoGo credits. So more incentive to remember and to practice.
So anyone have questions now? No? Okay, great.
Okay, so look out for the video. As always, we send them weekly, so look out for that in your inbox. Also, feel free to fill out the survey. We love to hear your feedback, as I've mentioned. And thank you for spending some of your Thursday with us. And we're excited to do it again next week.